Welcome, everybody, to episode 164 of the Geek Dad Report. The one show dedicated, formulated, specially created, and to bring you guys all the nerd news you need to know, all while putting a smile on your beautiful, beautiful masked faces.
Yes.
And I don't care what kind of mask. Maybe it's a superhero mask, or maybe it's a weird latex mask. We're not here to judge.
Or...
I mean, Ryan's here to judge because he's a big asshole. But I'm not. I'm Brian West, the hostess, who's not a big asshole.
It just goes like above my nose.
Ryan, you missed your cue.
He has a very defined chin.
Shut up. We're not talking about the mask anymore. Moving on. Like I said, I am Brian West, the hostess, who's not an asshole.
And I'm Ryan Thomason, the other guy that doesn't... I don't pay too much attention to what Brian says because... he just garbles a lot.
Whatever. So. It's because you're immune. It's because you're immune to how great I am, weirdo.
Yeah. Sorry. As someone who talks to you probably more than most human beings, that a lot of the stuff you say, literally.
You know what I call people like you, Ryan? The lucky ones. That's what I say. The lucky few who really get to know me. Who I take my mask off for, and you get to see the superhero within. You don't just get to see the superhero on the outside. You get to know what makes me believe that with great Brian comes great responsibility.
Yes. I don't think you would handle responsibility very well, just to be honest.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. Or superpowers, for that matter. If you gave me superpowers, it'd be real bad. I used to think, like, if I was a Jedi, dude, I'd literally just sit on the couch and, like, use the Force to get, like, chips in the remote control.
Be like, wife, you will clean the house.
Pizza man, I don't have to pay for this pizza. Banker, you will give me all the money in your till. Yeah, whatever. I'd
go to the Seahawks games and just, like, Force manipulating the football. Like, oh no, it's the 20th interception of the game.
Worse for you.
Many times.
Oh
before.
My God! And Big Ben has been hit by a random lightning bolt for the 7th time today. It's so weird. All right, I'd definitely be a dark Sith. If I was a Superman, if I had Superman's powers either, I would not be working as a goddamn reporter. I'll tell you that. I'd be Superman all the time. I'd just be like, I'm Superman. What do you need? I'd have, like, a construction business. I could build every skyscraper in 10 minutes.
You just go to, like, be, like, in a UFC, but just, like, learn how to, like, really... Just be like, oh, man, this guy's totally punching me and hurting me. And, like, then just...
Dude, that reminds me. Did you ever see... did you watch Batman the Animated Series, I'm guessing? Do you ever remember Do you ever remember the Superman episode? I think it was actually the Superman animated series, but it was a crossover with Batman. Batman had gone missing. I think he got some like nanobots in his brain, and so Bruce Wayne had gone missing, and because somebody didn't know that he was Batman, so they kidnapped Bruce Wayne and mind controlled him. So Robin has Superman fill in for Batman. And so they've got Superman wearing Batman's costume, and it just so happened that all of the Batman's villains at that moment plotted together. They'd finally come up with a plan to kill Batman, that they were all going to work together. So literally, like, the Riddler, Joker, Penguin, Bane, everybody attacks Batman at that moment, and Superman just, like, mops the floor with all of them. Like, Bane punches him in the back of the head, and he doesn't even move. He turns around, and then takes Bane and, like, throws him through a wall. And he looks at Robin, and Robin looks at Bane, he's like, he's been working out. Dude, it's the greatest episode. I'm like, this is amazing.
What show was? I gotta find this.
So you remember when Batman the Animated Series was out? They also came out with the Superman Animated Series. Wasn't quite as good, but it was still really good. Same style, and then they did a lot of crossover episodes. So it was one of the... I want to say it's a Superman episode. I don't think it's a Batman episode. But
I gotta look on the DC app and see if it's...
I'm telling you. It's so great. They all team up to destroy the Batman, and Superman just, like, mops the floor with all of them.
Yeah, I gotta see this now. This
great.
I've not been that excited to go and try and hunt down a TV show. than I have been.
It's a great episode because like the whole time he's like Robin's like trying to coach him up. He's like, listen, he'd rough him up a little bit, and Superman's like, what? He's like, dude, you gotta throw him. And so Superman like grabs him and chucks him, and the guy like is like flying, and he's like, dude, not so hard. And then he's talking. He's like, no, you gotta get your voice deeper. So Superman's like having to keep trying to drop his voice down. It's super. And then when Bane, it's just great when Bane tries to, he's like, I will break you. And Superman's like, yeah, this is not going to end well for you. Dude, I'm telling you, it's like the best episode. I don't know, how did we get there? I don't remember how we got to that point, but.
Yeah. I gotta look for that one.
I enjoyed these trips down nostalgia lane.
Yeah, that got me, like, I don't think I've been that excited.
I can't believe you have not seen that. It's probably my favorite episode of any of those animated shows.
But everyone's homework for this week is to hunt down that episode
and watch it.
Yeah, and then we will all talk about it.
All right, there you go. All right, well, speaking of things we're going to be talking about, Ryan, we have an action-packed show for all you guys and gals and everything in between. I think we got a Parent Trap. We got some stuff we want to talk about. Everyone seemed to like that segment last week. We're not going to open the show with it because last week it took us 30 minutes to get into news, so we're going to save it for the end of the show and make sure that we have enough time to talk about all the stuff we want to talk about. So we got a cool Parent Trap for you guys. We had a couple recommendations. We do not have a topic this week. We're probably going to do the Parent Trap instead. And we got a ton of news. And honestly, the other reason why we don't have a segment for you guys is because a big trailer dropped. Now, it is not the most anticipated trailer of the year, which would clearly be Star Wars Episode 9. We have not gotten that one yet. In fact, when that comes out, we may do our own, like a special little quick hit show just for that one. And if Ryan doesn't want to do it, I'll do it.
Just Brian just goes screaming and
I'll just be running in the background naked in circles, like I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Why I'm naked, who knows? But that might just be what it is. But the what were we talking about? Oh yeah. A trailer for a very anticipated movie dropped this week, and we're going to be talking all about it. You want a hint who it's going to be? I can't tell you who the trailer's about. I cannot tell you because that would be spoiling our news segment.
For people who are listening on iTunes, Brian is wearing a amazing Spider-Man shirt. Just so people know.
I can't tell you what the trailer we're going to be breaking down talking about is, but it's a good one. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Is that Deadpool?
Maybe.
It looks like Deadpool.
Deadpool 3. You ruined it for everybody. Way to go, Ryan, you big dickhole. But yeah, we got that, and we got a bunch of other news for you guys. So I don't know about you, but I think we should probably just dive into it. We have an action-packed show. Oh, I forgot to mention. We also have Faithful 50 questions. You guys came through with some great. You guys seem to really be enjoying the shift to Wednesdays because you're coming with some good questions. I feel like you guys aren't at the end of the week yet, so you're still like, you're still feeling it.
Yeah, I think Thursday maybe everybody was just a little depressed that they just really wanted to be the weekend. So
that's true. Thursday's a rough night because it almost feels like the weekend. So you might even start drinking a little bit early, but then you wake up and realize, oh God, I got to go to work tomorrow. It's terrible. Yeah. So. Yeah, I'm kind of enjoying these Wednesdays, so I think Wednesday may be our new day. But in the meantime, I'd like to commend all of you. We got some great questions tonight from the Faithful 50, so we also have that for you. So without further ado, though, Ryan, I think maybe it was time to get into Ninja News. Hurrah! We are coming with the judo chop of information.
Chop!
And then when you think you're prepared for that, we come with the BAM! Uppercut of knowledge.
And then Brian.
How do we finish him off, Ryan?
You finish him off with the Cobra Kai leg sweep of learning.
Oh, good. I'm glad you came with that one because last time you were like, we're going to finish him off with a hand job of information. I was like, no, Ryan, that's not how we're finishing him off.
I do not remember saying that.
I have it on tape. It's been cataloged in the annals of the internet.
The annals of the internet, Brian?
Moving on. So our first story tonight, Ryan, in case you guys and gals and everyone in between did not quite get all our hints, or you're on iTunes and didn't see me playing with my awesome Infinity War Spider-Man Funko Pop here, we got Spider-Man Far From Home trailer. It finally dropped, and we're going to talk all about it. So pretty much, if you don't want to know anything about the trailer, I guess fast forward about 5 minutes. Probably spend at least that much time on it. But yeah, we're going to be talking about it. It was not a huge spoilerific trailer, but there's definitely, you can tell Sony does the marketing. When Disney actually markets these, they give very little of the story. This trailer was very story heavy. We didn't get a ton of stuff, but we kind of know what this movie's going to be about.
Yeah, I mean, did you spend a big part of the trailer like trying to see if you could catch any Avengers?
No, because
I was like, where's the maybe an event? Like, of course they're not gonna do it.
I'll be honest. I was a little disappointed first that it was a 2.5-minute trailer. I would have much more preferred a teaser trailer, like a little minutes. Not giving us too much. We've seen some really good jobs of this lately with movies, and I would much rather see that than necessarily what we got. That being said, it's not a bad trailer. It's just, we see what's going to happen. This takes place after the events of the next Avengers movie. Peter Parker, he's living life. He's hanging out with Aunt May, who now knows he's Spider-Man. He decides his school's going on a trip to Europe, and so he's packing up. And is he going to find love? Who knows? Is he going to bring a Spider-Man suit? No. Is Nick Fury going to trank his best friend in the neck and then turn him into a secret agent, and then he has to do all this Spider-Man around in Europe? Absolutely. And how do we know this? Because the trailer laid it all out for us.
Yes, and we got to see the villains of who, and I even had, it seems like a lot of people like, who the hell?
We got multiple villains. So some people were a little confused on who the first villain we saw was. That is not Sandman. That is actually Hydra Man. I know a lot of people, at least I've heard Sandman. If you watch Spider-Man 3, there is some similarities. Hydro Man is somebody who controls the water. So think of Sandman, but with water.
Yes.
So that was the one we saw the most of. And then we got, like you were saying, we got Mysterio at the very end. And I will have to say this. Jake Gyllenhaal looks pretty badass as Mysterio.
I was kind of like, I want to root for Mysterio because Jake Gyllenhaal looks pretty sweet in that suit.
That trailer inspired a lot of thirsty memes out there, apparently. And if you don't know what thirsty means, it's apparently when people want to have sex with somebody. They're thirsty for that person.
I did not know that.
Well, there you go. I'm educating everybody on this show. So yeah, so there was a lot of thirsty tweets about Jake Gyllenhaal's Mysterio, which I'm going to say he's a pretty strapping lad in this.
So did you like the look of his suit?
Yeah, I actually did. I wasn't concerned. I mean, Marvel's, Disney. Well, so anybody who's not 100% didn't realize this about the first one. Marvel / Disney / the MCU is producing these. They are kind of the creative talent behind it, but this is still a Sony production. So when we say Sony, Marvel, MCU, it's a little convoluted. Just know that Kevin Feige is kind of creatively controlling these, yet Sony's the one who makes all the final decisions on it, I believe. Yeah. But ever since Marvel took over, I have pretty much like God, sorry, I got all these messages popping up here. Marvel has done a really good job with the costumes, so I wasn't really too concerned. Even with Spider-Man Homecoming, the Vulture's costume, when I first kind of heard about it, I was like, this isn't going to work. But then you see it in real life in the movie, and it just looks great. So I had no problems or no worries with Mysterio. That being said, they went a little bit different than I thought they would, and it looks really good. I actually think it's an improvement on the comic book version. The comic book version is mostly just kind of green with the big dome. This looks more like almost like gladiator armor a little bit with green and the big dome.
The person said it looks like Iron Man and Thor got smashed together.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty good analogy. Instead of the silver, you get green. But like I said, I liked how they had the iconic dome. I'm a little interested to see what his powers is, because in the comic book he was I believe he was a special effects person who used special effects in the beginning and then eventually made a deal with the devil or something and got actual powers. In this, he clearly has powers. He's flying around. He's shooting green stuff out of his hands. They have him set up to be kind of the hero, it looks like. Like he's battling Hydra Man. I don't know if they're working together. I have a theory that they're working together to try and, Hydra Man's the villain. Let me show up and save the day, but really he's a villain.
Yeah, it's gonna be Mysterio's gonna like turn on him at the end or
Yeah,
something.
I think Mysterio's setting himself up that he's not a villain. That maybe they're trying to do some like heist or something, and I think he
Yeah.
is a villain clearly. But so I don't know, we'll see. What'd you think of? Did you catch the different Spider-Man suits they had? They had the red and blue one, his his kind of classic from the last movie. They had a new red and black one that looks like that's the one Nick Fury's going to give him. And then,
I didn't see the red and black one. Which one? Is that one toward the end of the cut?
yeah, anytime they show Europe, that's what he's in. He's in a red and black suit.
Oh, okay.
And
So,
that is
yeah.
kind of the suit he has right now in the comic books, I believe. He switched to a red and black one. And then they had the Spider-Man Noir, like the stealth suit. It's all black, and it had kind of the silver goggles.
Yeah, that was right.
They showed that one as a quick flash. What do you think about them showing all those suits? That's something that I almost wish I don't think they need to show that. Show us one suit
Well,
and save the rest.
I honestly, I think that with these kind of movie trailers, they really need to do what they said with what they're doing for the next Avengers movie. We're not going to show you anything past the first 15 minutes.
Yeah.
They can give you. They could have made that a good trailer without having to show as much as they showed.
I will say I don't think we've seen anything past maybe the 45-minute mark, but I do think we saw a lot of the setup, and I'm not saying this movie won't have surprises, but I think we kind of know what this movie's going to be.
Yeah, and that's kind of disappointing to me. I want it to be. I don't want to see all the setup. I just want to see Spider-Man's going to Europe.
Yeah, and the reason why we mentioned, I mentioned
the car going, there's Big Ben, driving past Big Ben for like the 80th time.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, and the other reason why I mentioned that this was, you could tell this is a Sony trailer versus a Marvel trailer, is Spider-Man, in the original Spider-Man, so like I said earlier, Marvel tends to not give as much away, but the original Spider-Man trailers, if you watch those, there's one for trailer in specific that showed the very end of the movie in the trailer. Like, it was like, come on, really? This is what you're doing? You're showing us how this ends? Like, him defeating Vulture is in the trailer. And it's like, come on. You don't need to do that.
Yeah, I'm hoping they don't give away too much more in the preceding trailers.
I'm just not going to watch another Spider-Man trailer.
No, I am not watching another. That wasn't good enough for me, and I feel like I can't trust Sony on this one.
To be honest, I don't even know if I would have watched it because it's coming out in July. I mean, we only have 6.5 months before this movie comes out. I don't even know if I would have watched it if I knew we weren't talking about it on the show, because I didn't want to see as much as I saw. I'm kind of bummed. I'd heard that Nick Fury was in this. I'm kind of bummed that we already saw the intro Nick Fury scene. I mean, It's like, come on.
That would be so cool to just leave that out.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a great scene. You don't need to show Nick Fury.
Yeah, it's like, so I guess Nick Fury comes back too, because...
Well, you could have shown you could have just shown, well, we're going to get to that in a second. You could have just shown Happy. I thought that was great in the beginning. You could tell there's something going on with him and Aunt May, which I think is a cool twist, because, Iron Man was hitting on her like nobody's business. And so
did you see how everyone's been doing on Facebook to show your first
the 10-year?
Yeah, and then someone put this one wins, and it showed Aunt May 10 years ago, the old lady, and then it showed Aunt May, now with
Marissa Tomei. Yeah, she wins. Aunt May, whatever you're drinking, Aunt May, pass some this way. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. But yeah, no, and that's the thing. You could have put a Happy in there, and it reminds you that, oh yeah, that's right, he's part of the MCU. We're gonna get other characters. I don't feel like you had to put the scene where he sees Nick Fury, because he's like, oh my god, Nick Fury! Like, right. Sweet, thanks.
Yeah, because he's so excited to see everybody.
So, okay, and that brings us to the other point, and we'll get back to the trailer in a second, but that kind of gets me to my other point. Was this trailer even necessary at this point? Right now, currently in the MCU, Spider-Man is dead, Nick Fury is dead, half the world is dead, and when you watch this trailer, you can tell that everything has been set back. Nobody's talking about all the dead people. Nick Fury's there. Spider-Man is there.
Yeah, that's what's the tough part about this, is when they're doing a big, huge, overarching storyline that crosses all the movies. you know, they can't help themselves. They have to do a trailer. I mean, they can't just wait until the movie comes out to start doing it, because that's just not how it works. If this was,
but I think you could have though. Could you? Okay, tell me. Here's the scenario. How about this? I'm gonna throw something at you. What
if this was in the pre-2000s, they would not be showing a Spider-Man trailer.
So okay,
right
how about this? What if they would have done this? Because we are all anxiously waiting to see what happens. Now, most of us knew that Spider-Man was going to come back. That I can't imagine Sony was going to loan them Spider-Man just so the Spider-Man could be murdered in Avengers.
Yep. Now all you guys get is Venom.
Yeah, I know, right? Sorry, we killed him. Haha, joke's on you. There's a clause that says if Spider-Man ever dies, we get him back. So we knew he was coming back. But, the fact that Kevin Feige's already come out and said Spider-Man Far From Home takes place after Avengers Endgame. No, we know that this isn't like in between. This is after. This is phase 4 or whatever that Marvel's doing. This is their next phase, and Spider-Man's kind of kicking it off, right? So we know where this stands. Now, we also assume that, that Nick Fury was coming back, but, Avengers spoilers aside, here's what I would have personally liked to see. It still takes away some of the fun, some of the mystery of what's going to happen, right? Knowing that they're coming back and seeing them back without knowing how they got back is two totally different things, right? So here's what I would have liked to see them do. I mean, come on, we know Black Panther 2 is happening. We know Doctor Strange 2 is happening. We know these movies are coming, so it's not like a shock that they're already here. But what I would have liked to see is them do a teaser where we never see Peter Parker. You give us a 1-minute Spider-Man trailer where you only show Spider-Man. You maybe even cut it so people are like, who's this? Maybe setting up that maybe it's Miles Morales. Maybe it's somebody else's Spider-Man.
That's cool.
We don't know it's Peter Parker. Maybe even put him in a new suit and then just show that new suit. So then it kind of leads you like, is this actually Peter Parker? But only show that. Just tease it, right? And then be like, August, give us the date. So get us excited. Get us talking about it. Like, hey, holy crap. Is this actually Parker? Are they really going to kill him? Are they bringing in Miles Morales? What the hell is going on? All we know is it's coming out, I think it's coming out in July. So maybe push it to the end of August so that way you get a little more promotional time. And then what you do is if you bring back Spider-Man at the end of Avengers, boom, the end credits is a scene from Far From Home with the Spider-Man Far From Home full trailer right at the end of Avengers. And then you're like, yes, Spider-Man! And then you find out you're getting, maybe not even give us the date on the teaser. We don't get the date on when Spider-Man's coming back until after Avengers. Hell, drop it 2 months, a month and a half after Avengers and be like, Avengers comes in May and be like, July 1st, Spider-Man. And then everyone's super stoked. It piggybacks off the popularity of Avengers and everybody's excited.
Well, remember when the Marvel movies first started coming out, you didn't know what was going to happen in the next movie until you got to see the end credits of the one, and then they're like, oh shit, it's Thor's hammer. They're doing a Thor movie. That they lost all that because they just can't help themselves anymore. We live in a culture where everything has to be
talked about and discussed and broke down endlessly.
Yeah. Like, you don't need 8 months of promotion on this movie. You don't need 8 months of promotion on this movie.
No.
But they have to, because people will just start getting, like, foaming at the mouth because they haven't, got a new trailer.
Well, you know what? Tell everyone to shut the hell up and relax. I mean, we still have... I mean, people have forgotten that we have Captain Marvel in a month and a half. I mean, why? Because they got to know about Spider-Man. I am focused on Captain Marvel and then Avengers, and then whatever after that. Oh, actually, I'm focused on How to Train Your Dragon 3, which I'm going to in 2 weeks. I'm excited about that.
Yes.
Oh, hey, here's a public service announcement. If you guys haven't checked, it might be a little too late, but still check. Anybody who has Fandango, if you go on Fandango, How to Train Your Dragon Part 3 is doing screenings for Fandango 3 weeks early. So February 2nd, across the country, they are doing one showing and one showing only. So if you want to get and check it out, if you're excited for this movie the way my family is, we have our tickets. We are going. Check it out. Fandango. Fandango. Which, hey, I run this by you earlier. I want to get your thoughts on something. I had a little fan theory, and we'll get back to the Spider-Man trailer in a second. So I was watching this How to Train Your Dragon movies with my kids, and they're great movies. Make you cry every time. A lot of blonde Vikings running around training dragons. And it got me thinking, they never say where they're at. What, Ryan? What if How to Train Your Dragon is actually a prequel to A Song of Ice and Fire? What if this universe is actually Westeros and we are seeing how the Targaryens rise to power?
But that would mean that you'd have to have the Doom, which would mean almost all the dragons would die and only 3 of them survive.
Except for Toothless, who shows back up and helps Jon Snow defeat the White Walkers at the end of Ice and Fire.
I guess he could be a resemblance of Drago, the Dread.
No, I think Toothless is going to show up this season.
Yeah.
He's been flying around. He will avenge Hiccup.
I think that
I think I'm onto something.
I'm going to say there's a chance.
Yes. I'm on to George R. R. Martin. I figured your shit out. Woo! All right, so anyway, back to the Spider-Man trailer. I don't know. Anything else you want to say about it? I enjoyed the trailer. I think it's going to be a super fun movie. You can tell it's the same people who did the first one. It has the same tone of the first movie. I don't know. Watching Parker run around, Tom, what the hell's his name? Fucking whatever. Tom Holland as Spider-Man is just a joy. He just has so much fun with that character. I would just watch him be Spider-Man doing laundry, whatever. I think it looks good. I'm really excited. Complaints about how much of the movie we got in the trailer aside, I thought it was a well done trailer. The movie looks great, and I think it's gonna be another hit.
Yeah, we're all looking forward to it.
Yes. All right. We also got a really cool poster for it. I'll show you guys here.
It has the Spider-Man mask.
Yep. I got it as my screensaver there. There it is. Look at that.
The fun stickers on it.
It's got all the stickers from around the world on it. So pretty cool poster. Makes a great screensaver. If you want, some people have pictures of their families or dogs. Not me. I got pictures of superheroes. And masks, people. Masks. Back to masks. We all wear masks.
Not
movie they should remake? The Mask. That's a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
No? You're not feeling it? All right, moving on. What else do we want to talk about here? There was another surprise trailer. Well, it was a teaser trailer. Speaking of not giving away anything, Ryan, we got our very first teaser for a movie coming out next summer. We got it today. And all I'm going to say, Ryan, is who are you going to call, Ryan?
It was what?
No, oh, come on. I'm throwing softballs at you. You just got to hit him out of the park. I said, all I got to say about this trailer, Ryan, is who you going to call?
I would call the pizza guy.
You're the worst.
Or I'd call out for Chinese food.
We found out earlier actually, I think it was either today or yesterday, that apparently Ghostbusters 3 is in development. It is a Ghostbusters sequel that is not a reboot. Well, I mean, it'll be kind of a reboot, but it's set in the Ghostbusters universe of the first 2 movies. It will feature the original Ghostbusters in some capacity, and it is being directed by the son of Ivan Reitman, who directed the first one, Jason Reitman. Ivan is going to be a producer on this.
I didn't know that his son was doing it. That's pretty cool. And yes, Brian, I didn't know it was the Ghostbusters. Just so you know.
I know. I'm just giving you shit.
I want you to look down upon me. I know it's really easy for you to do that.
Too late for that. Actually, in our Skype call, you are above me, so you're always looking down on me. I think that's why I'm always so defensive.
Oh, okay. Oh, I have the high ground, so.
You do not have the high ground. Stupid Anakin. Why'd you jump, Anakin? You could have ruled the galaxy, but no. You had to do some stupid backflip and get your arms and legs cut off, and your balls burnt.
Another force jump, like the 600 force jump that you just done before.
And then you got your balls burnt off. Way to go. Good job. Yeah, so apparently fanboys were so butthurt after the female-led Ghostbusters movie that it led Sony to go, you know what? We have to give them exactly what they had before. And not only that, we got to bring in the people who were affiliated and their sons, and only people who had something to do with the original, because God forbid the internet will cry tears of sadness and whine.
wait, Brian. People are going to be they're going to be so upset over like how Slimer doesn't have the right percentage of green slime.
And people already started in. There better be Ecto Cooler in this. First of all, why would there be Ecto Cooler in this? Ecto Cooler was a product that people made in the real world to help promote the movie. It was never in the movie.
Wait, people actually said that?
Yes. The internet was once again angry about Ghostbusters. Whatever. Here's my only thing. I'm excited. So okay, my first take about this on itself. Whatever. I enjoy the first Ghostbusters movies. The second one really isn't that great. Honestly, it's a remake of the first one, and it's not even as good as the first one. But I enjoy Ghostbusters. They're fun. The original Ghostbusters was a great movie. And we'll always have that. If they want to make more Ghostbusters movies, I say more power to them. I also enjoyed the reboot that they did with the female cast. I found it really funny. I found it enjoyable, and I kind of liked it was just something different, right? Yeah. The thing I hate about this is no matter what it does, especially if it's really good, a lot of people, the hot take is going to be like, oh, see, when you get back to the roots and you don't put a bunch of women in Ghostbuster suits, it's better. And that's just stupid. Like, I hate how this one's going to be an opportunity for a lot of people to just try and trash the one that just came out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the wrong take. Like, people, we don't own these properties. I know we've said this a million times on this. I don't give a shit. You can take you can take Star Wars and make an Ewok Star Wars movie that's a musical. And guess what? I'll probably watch it. And even if it's the worst thing I've ever seen, it still doesn't ruin Star Wars because all the other Star Wars movies that I've ever watched are still there, and they'll make more.
It's the same thing with the people that are all pissed off about She-Ra, even though they never gave a shit about She-Ra when they were growing up as kids. But they just want stupid crap to argue about, and this is just going to be another thing for them to argue about.
Well, and it's not just that. People act like you can bottle up your childhood and then just reproduce it. You look at things differently when you are a child than you do as an adult. Nothing is ever going to be as good as an adult as it was when you were a child. Because when you're a child, you believe in fairies and leprechauns and Santa Claus and magic. When you're an adult, you don't, because you got to fucking pay bills and you got psychos running the country and they got, reality hits you. Nothing is ever going to be as good as it was when you were a kid. Spoiler alert. The female-led Ghostbusters movie was better than Ghostbusters 2. Infinitely better than Ghostbusters 2. I don't know if it's as good as Ghostbusters 1. That was a classic. But it was a good movie.
And people need to remember, movie studios got to make movies that are going to be for this generation so that they can grow with it. Just like we got to be able to grow with the movie. They need to be able
hot take.
That are not for our generation because we're not going to be around as long as our children are.
Well, if George Lucas would have released the prequels first in the way that they were, people would love them like they were the greatest thing in the world because the special effects would blow your mind. And if A New Hope was released today, it would bomb in the theaters. Bomb. Yeah. Absolutely bomb. The Force Awakens is a more entertaining movie than A New Hope. And I'm a diehard Star Wars fan. A New Hope is slow. The pacing is so slow, and it doesn't even make sense half the time.
Haters gonna hate, Brian.
It's just how it is. We look through this lens of nostalgia on everything, and it's so stupid.
That's all they want. They're not nostalgic. They just want something to be mad about because it's not. Because they want to go back to being 12 years old and not having responsibilities ever again.
Yeah, that's probably true too. So whatever. But hey, if you're mad about Ghostbusters, then I guess be mad. I don't care. But anyway, they're making another one. There you go.
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm gonna watch it.
Maybe if they get Chris Hemsworth to come back.
Well, inevitably we've got to get a Men in Black Ghostbusters crossover, right?
Ooh, that'd be cool. Aliens.
Both owned by Sony. I want Chris Hemsworth and everything. He's dreamy.
It's from outer space.
All right. Speaking of, let's see. Let's shoot through some news real quick. Let's see. Speaking of what we were talking about. Speaking of crossovers, apparently Booster Gold is going to be rumored to be in the new Blue Beetle. Blue. I can't fucking talk. Let me do that again. Speaking of crossovers, Ryan, apparently Booster Gold is rumored to be in the new Blue Beetle movie that DC Comics just announced a couple weeks ago.
If there's something that a movie really needs, is an egocentric person.
Oh, God. If people are not familiar with Booster Gold, you should be. He is a great character. All we need is for Nathan Fillion to be cast as him, and life will be perfect.
Yeah. And I would watch that multiple times because I love Nathan Fillion.
Exactly. Speaking of life being perfect, Ryan, we got our first official teaser for Game of Thrones season 8.
Yes, the final season.
The final season. It showed no new footage, but it was very ominous. It was the remaining Starks walking through the tomb, their family tomb, looking at all the family members they've lost. Rob, Ed. Eddard, Ned, whatever you call him. The mom. Who's the mom?
Caitlin.
We didn't see any Rickon though. I felt kind of like Rickon. I think like they didn't know how to put a statue where it should have been weaving.
Because you have to have someone that is a master stoneworker that knew him. Yeah. That knew what he looked like.
I think everyone is still yelling, you should have been bobbing and weaving, dude. What the hell's wrong with you? But then the creepy part is you get to the end.
All you had to do was zigzag.
God, Rickon was the worst. But then you get to the end. And I also feel a little weird that they left out the Three-Eyed Raven himself.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't in the Stark family catacombs. If I'm him, I'm a little angry. Bran, file a grievance with the Union. I would not stand for that. But when you get to the end of the trailer, it's a little ominous. Why is it a little ominous, Ryan, you ask? Because the 3 remaining Starks / Targaryens come to see their own statues. Dun, dun, dun! What does this mean, Ryan? Does this mean they're all going to die?
They don't die.
Does it mean that they actually die, or does it mean that like all legends eventually die?
I think it's Bran having one of his dreams where it's like the possibility of the future. If
I don't think it has anything to do with the show. I think it's HBO fucking with us because they're like, will they die? Tune in to find out. We're gonna get a lot of these kind of things.
You know what? I'm willing to bet you're 100% right. That this isn't even anything that has to do with the plot or storyline or anything. It's just them effing with people. And would totally do that for the show.
What they're doing is they're saying, let's make every character have some kind of a death trailer, and then we're going to air all those before April.
You know what? I'm completely blown away by this. I'm speechless. I think the next one is probably going to be like Cersei and Jaime or something like that, and it's going to be. And
then there'll be Daenerys like getting eaten by a dragon.
Hey. So what do you get for getting this right, Brian? A pat on the back?
Just tears of sadness and misery watching all my favorite heroes die horrible deaths. Fuck you, George R. R. Martin, you son of a bitch. All right, that's all we're going to talk. We're going to do a huge Game of Thrones spoiler cast when we get closer. But anyway, that's what we got going on right now. Let's see what else we got going on. If you're a Criminal Minds fans, sorry about your luck. It's been canceled. Season 15 will be its last. I mean, 15 seasons is pretty good, though, so...
That's a steady paycheck.
That's longer than my favorite Supernatural show. Supernatural I've been for 14 years. 15 years, wow. Let's see what else we got. Punisher had a trailer, but we're not even going to talk about it because I didn't watch it because Punisher drops this weekend, so what's the fucking point in watching a trailer?
Yeah. Why would we ruin something?
So, get really excited. I've heard Punisher Season 2 is excellent. Me and Ryan will totally review it right before it gets canceled. So, enjoy Punisher Season 2. World War Z 2 apparently is actually going to happen, supposedly. They got a title, a start date, and locations. We'll see.
Yay?
Yeah, whatever. Bumblebee's making lots of money. We're going to get more of those movies. Congratulations. That's good news. Coming to America 2 is officially moving forward with Eddie Murphy and a new director. So, all right, sweet. I like that show. I like that movie. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego is getting an animated show that launches, I don't know, soon on Netflix.
Is Carmen Sandiego.
I was explaining to my daughter. She's like, what's that? And I'm like, oh,
whatever. You get the old game. You can download it for free.
Oh, that's what I should do. Good call, Ryan. Let's see what else we got here. Speaking of Netflix, those assholes raised their prices again. which is a little disheartening considering they just canceled all the Marvel shows, announced that they're going to be losing a third of their content.
But as one of our commenters, Matt, said, basically you're still paying less than you would for a $5 movie rental.
That's also true. And the price hike, all the articles did a good job of making it sound really bad. 47%. Ultimately, what it means is you're going to be paying anywhere from $1 to $2 more a month.
Mine went up $2.
Yeah, mine did too. But that's how they get you. It's $2 now, then $2 tomorrow, and then by the end of the year, it's $27.50.
Yeah, as long as I can watch the next season tidying up.
You know what?
My house.
Netflix, all I'm saying is you're real lucky that season 3 of Stranger Things is coming this year, or I'd think about possibly considering canceling Netflix. I mean, I probably wouldn't, but I totally would think about it. John Wick 3 gave us a trailer, or a teaser. We got a teaser that was about 10 seconds long, and it's all we needed. The first trailer for John Wick 3, Parabellum, is coming out tomorrow.
Ooh, tomorrow. Nice.
I cannot wait for that. John Wick is the man.
Boop, 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 boop.
Let's see here. So we'll be talking more about John Wick next week. That'll be our big trailer breakdown. Disney is developing a live-action Hunchback of Notre Dame with Josh Gad, because of course they are.
It's not. If there's a Disney movie that doesn't get remade in the next 5 years, then I'll be surprised.
Yeah, I don't know. And then finally, I think it's our last story. I'm scrolling through to see if I missed anything. I don't know. We got Shazam. The Shazam suits are $1 million a piece, and they made 10 of them. So I'm thinking maybe we should actually start making suits.
So wait, when does Shazam come out? It feels like they've been promoting it for too long.
I think it comes out in April, maybe. It's coming out soon.
I don't know. It feels far away.
Whatever. I know we're getting 2 superhero movies from DC this year, and I don't know which ones they are. We're getting Shazam
and
the Joker movie, maybe.
We already had Aquaman.
Yeah, that was really good.
Wonder Woman 2?
No, Wonder Woman 2 got pushed back to 2020.
Oh, that's right.
I don't know. The fact that DC, I'm excited for Shazam, but then after that, I don't know what we're getting.
I'm looking forward to Shazam.
Give me Man of Steel 2. Give me something. I don't care about Harley Quinn and the emancipation of the birds of prey. Whatever. I want to see it, but I want to see Green Lantern instead. How about that? And then finally, our last bit of tidbit news, because CBS All Access realizes that nobody wants to pay $6.99 for their stupid shows that you can get on their regular channel. They've decided that they're going to put out 72 Star Trek shows, because that is all anybody watches on that channel. And they're probably just going to rebrand it eventually to CBS All Star Trek for $7.99 a month.
If you had a character that you loved that was either on Next Generation or Deep Space Nine, they did every single one of them gets a brand new show. So,
most recently, Star Trek Discovery Season 2 is launching here, and I think in the next few weeks. I'm going to wait till all 13 episodes are out, and then I will play it 1 month, and I will watch them all, and then I'll cancel my subscription. Because I'm willing to pay $6 to watch Star Trek, but that is it.
The first season, my wife I think she wanted to try and get caught up on Elementary, because she was behind. And so we just did it for 1 month. She watched all of those. I watched all of the Star Trek for season 1.
And it was worth $6. It's a good show. It is not worth $7 a month for. That being said, if you watch that show, Michelle Yeoh, she was like a commander who something happened. I won't spoil it. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it. Anyway, she's getting her own spinoff where she's going to be leading a Black Ops team. Sounds like all the Star Trek is going like super dark and like murder.
If I remember right, in Star Trek Deep Space Nine, they kept running in with this group that was like the Black Ops CIA, like deep state of the Federation.
Why don't they just bring back Deep Space Nine?
I wouldn't be surprised if this is if she's the one that starts that organization.
Dude, that's what they need to bring back. Deep Space Nine. Let's get a spin off of that. What was the name of their ship that was a badass that had the cloaking device?
The Defiant?
The Defiant. I love that ship. That was great.
It was a rad ship. It had cloaking because they got Romulans to give them the cloaking technology.
Yeah, and they were at like perpetual war with the Dominion. That show turned into like a straight war show at the end of the series. I don't know if I ever finished the actual series. I need to go back and finish that and then Voyager. Hey, whatever happened to Voyager? Did they ever get home?
Voyager, they made it back.
Great. Well, now I don't need to watch it, Ryan.
That's all. That was probably the first. That was the first Star Trek show that I actually got into. But
I think I didn't watch the final season of Deep Space Nine. I watched the first 2 seasons of Voyager, and I didn't watch a single episode of Enterprise.
If you watched the Orville last week, they had 2 of the people from Voyager were on the Orville last week.
I gotta watch Orville. That's a show I gotta get caught up on. I heard it's great.
Oh my God, it is like my wife watched the last episode with me, and just because I was like, we don't have to watch this because I know you don't like it. She's like, oh no, it's okay. I've watched a couple, when
I'll have to watch it. I got one more episode.
She laughed. She actually laughed.
I got one more. I got the season finale of Man in the High Castle season 3, which started real slow, but holy shit, they've gone straight Game of Thrones these last few episodes. It's like, holy, people are just getting their heads chopped off, and you're like, oh my God. And then I gotta watch Punisher this weekend, and then I'll watch Orville. That'll be my next show. I'll try and watch.
So funny.
So good. All right. What were we talking about? Star Trek? Anyway, whatever. Moving on from Star Trek. That's all the news we got. Yay. Woohoo.
Yay. We're done. Goodbye, everybody.
We're not done yet. We got From the Faithful 50. We got a Parent Corner. We're doing pretty good on time. So I think we'll be able to do it. Here we go. So anyway, I think that's all the news we got. Oh, no. We do have one more quick little... we got a teaser today for Netflix release. Netflix, they're trying to make people happy because they're not happy about the price increases. That being said, there's some traction about Daredevil may get saved and a whole bunch of DC Plus rumor news that we are not going to talk about because it's all in like weird rumor stuff. But hopefully we'll get some concrete stuff coming soon of the the Disney Plus streaming service. That may include an X-Men series that may be in production right now for that series. Yeah. But when we hear some more confirmation, we'll talk about that. But as far as Netflix goes, they announced today they had no footage, but they greenlit a show and they're fast-tracking it into production. We're supposed to start getting episodes here relatively soon. It's a show written, it's by the people who made Office Space, starring Steve Carell, and it's called Space Force. Yes. It is a show about people trying to figure out how to do Trump's stupid Space Force.
Oh my God.
It is going to be in the style of The Office, and it's going to be all about people planning this and trying to launch a Space Force. I cannot wait to watch this show.
What's sad as an employee of the federal government, I'm willing to bet it'll be very accurate.
I will say this, as bad of a president as our illustrious 45 is, and he is real bad, maybe even the worst ever in the history of any country, he may be the absolute best at creating material for us to laugh at.
I guess.
Saturday Night Live has never been better. We're getting a Space Force TV show. He is a walking parody. Unfortunately, he's walking our country right into a wall, and not the stupid one he wants. But
first episode is going to be like they're going one direction, they're finally making headway, and then they have to do like a 180 and like go the other.
I really hope they have a Trump-like figure on this show that just calls in and like right when they're about to launch and they've got all the ideas, they call and they have to like do a complete 180 and they have to build like a McDonald's in space first, and then they have to make all the toilets gold-plated. I'm excited for this show. It's going to be great.
It should be interesting.
I am 100% on board for this. So anyway, all right, there you go. That's all the news we got for you guys. Let us know in the comments if you have anything to say about anything we talked about tonight. And we talked about a lot.
Oh, yes.
Mostly I talked a lot.
Well, that's because you're the host.
That's true.
You're the front man.
But tell you what, I am the front man and I get all the love, attention. Most people send me the money. I definitely get all the weird pictures that people take of themselves and send them to me.
You get the boxes of panties that are sent to you. And
yes, it's usually like whitey tighties, but it's cool though. I mean, I appreciate all the fan mail and things that you guys send to me, especially the money. I love all the money that you guys send my way.
Yes.
And don't tell Ryan about it, so it's great. I spend it wisely.
It's fine. I get sent things that I don't tell you about, so
That's probably
it
true.
all evens itself out. That's
Those
how.
are bills in the mail that you get from like your bank and the mortgage company.
Uh, I'm not going to tell you what the really cool thing is that I got in the mail.
Anyway, Ryan, the point is I don't want to take everything. I want you to have some spotlight. I want you to have the light shine clearly on your beautiful face there. And I want you to lead us into the next segment.
All right. Well, the next segment is probably the best segment, which means I definitely need to take control on this because Brian can't handle it. We have from the Fateful 50 every night or every day or when we're recording, I'll put up a post for you guys to leave questions. And yeah, so you can ask us anything you want. And we have gotten some really rando questions before. But tonight we have some pretty good questions, so I'm looking forward to getting into this one. Should we start off? Do you want to start with Jeff first, or do you want to go with Boring Chris first, Brian?
You are leading this segment. You did a great job of grabbing it by the short and curlies and just hanging on for dear life. So I want you to continue to tug that.
I'll start off with
thing.
I'll just go down the list. Boring Chris, not to be confused with Evil Chris.
Yeah, Evil Chris. Evil Chris still keeping it evil. Boring Chris getting worse by the day.
Yeah. So he wants to know, are you excited for the new Ghostbusters movie? He is. And you did exclamation point. So the new Ghostbusters movie, like the one that we talked about earlier in the show, I think we did exclaim our excitement in it.
I say, Chris, just watch the entire episode and you'll get our answer.
Yeah. I know that sometimes people do skip just to the very end so they can see if their questions got answered. But
okay, so because you submitted it, even though you're super boring and you should definitely watch the entire episode, Chris, I will still give you an additional answer because that's the kind of guy that I am, and I'm sure Ryan will too, because here at the Geek Dad Report, we care about you. The little people, the boring people.
There's a reason why it's the Faithful 50. We got to maintain that number. If we can't go 49, we can't go 51. We got to just maintain the 50. So
that's true. Yes, we are excited. I'm excited for any nerd property that people want to make. I say make them all. If it were up to me, I'd have Disney make 7 Star Wars movies a year, 15 comic book movies a year, and we reboot Ghostbusters every 3 years. I'd want to. If it's up to me, we'd have a Thundercats movie in development. We'd have a fucking live action Smurf movie in development, and not the shitty ones, like a real good one. We'd have, what else did I watch as a kid? We'd have He-Man, She-Ra movies. We'd have well, we do got Transformers. What else we got? I want a good G.I. Joe movie. I want I'd have 3 Ninja Turtle movies every year.
We need some more video game movies. Those are always good.
We don't need more. We need a good one. I'd have a Legend of Zelda movie in production. I'd have a Metroid movie in production. I would just pillage Nintendo's catalog. I'd reboot Super Mario Brothers. And if Bob Hoskins wasn't dead, I'd bring him back.
I think we need to do a Castlevania. Well, no, we do have Castlevania.
Yeah, it's a great TV show. I want that as a movie, too. Honestly, I'm excited for any nerd property. I don't even care if it sucks. I was excited for Venom. I'll only talk shit about it after I see it.
And I would love all these properties as long as there's no more social media.
I'll take that trade. Let's do that.
Yeah.
We can still post on YouTube.
So, yes,
right.
I'm excited as well. I'm just not excited for the social media fanboy.
Also known as big whiny vaginas. Yeah, running around, crybabying everywhere.
But babies.
Why do I say vaginas? Why is that term whiny vaginas? Like I say with vaginas like it's a bad thing. Why is a vagina a bad thing? I think it's a great thing. How about we just, from now on, we won't say whiny vaginas. We're going to say whiny giant crybaby turd buckets.
That's a hashtag, that one.
Yeah, that's a long hashtag, but we're going to do it. Because nobody likes a whiny crybaby turd bucket for any reason.
Yeah.
There we go.
There's the hashtag of the week.
So the name of the episode, whiny turd bucket, whiny baby turd bucket.
Yeah, but you gotta do the hashtag first.
Hashtag whiny baby turd buckets. Is that?
Yeah.
There we go. That's the name of it.
Plus,
there you go, everybody. We just named the show. ... Plus Spider-Man trailer breakdown.
Chris, I'm glad that you were able to contribute to the show in such a way. You helped us create the title. So
Boring Chris is going to take full credit for that, and he's going to want to be promoted to full credit Chris.
Yes, full credit Chris.
God damn it! You're going to be partial credit Chris from now on. We'll give you partial credit.
Yeah, he gets partial credit. He doesn't get full. It all came from our conversation.
You've been upgraded, Chris, from Boring Chris to partial credit Chris.
All right, partial credit Chris. We thank you. Good job.
All
right. Next up, we have Jeff. He wants to know. He said Chris Pratt is the. Now, I didn't know this until we started talking about it. So
I was going to ask you about this since you're close personal friends. One could even say, as close as you could possibly be friends.
Yeah, I have seen Chris Pratt do things that I am not allowed to talk about. But
I am. It was his penis.
Yeah, Chris Pratt is about to
head.
Schwarzenegger as his father-in-law. Which celebrity would be the best father-in-law, and which celebrity would be the worst father-in-law? Now, all I knew is that Chris Pratt was getting remarried. I don't follow celebrity partnerships really in any way.
We didn't talk about this on the news because, frankly, I don't give a shit. But I will say, if anybody's not familiar with the story, Chris Pratt is marrying Arnold Schwarzenegger's daughter. I do not remember her name. They announced it recently, I think on Instagram or whatever, that they were engaged. Whatever. I mean, good for him. He's moving into a strong Republican family. I believe Chris Pratt, if you follow him on Facebook and other places, is a very faith-based Republican man himself. So I feel like that aspect is going to fit well with the family. So we're not going to talk about that because, hey, everyone's entitled to their own beliefs and systems. So I think he's going to fit in well. I do hope there is a Chris Pratt, Arnold Schwarzenegger team-up movie now. I feel like there has to be, right?
Yeah. It seems like the most logical step.
So, to Jeff's
next Terminator movie.
So before we get into father-in-law, to Jeff's question, I want to ask you, as a person who has had Chris Pratt's penis on your head, on the back of your head.
Well, it wasn't my head. I was on the person's head I was sitting next to.
He hit you so hard on the head. That's why you have a small bald spot right on the back.
Mm-mm.
I mean, like he kind of raptured you. We know you spray can hair yourself, but how do you feel about this? Like when did you know that when you got that penis on your head that was going to be the penis of somebody who's going to be hanging out with Arnold Schwarzenegger at family dinners?
When I was in the high school locker room as a freshman in high school, and I saw a senior.
You saw your best friend Chris Pratt.
I saw my best friend Chris Pratt put his balls and penis on someone's head, and then I turned, and it was literally about like that far away from me, and I said, "That looks like the balls and penis of someone who's going to be the son-in-law to the Terminator." In my head, right there.
You knew
that was going to happen.
God damn it! You are good. You are real good because to know things like that takes talent, Ryan.
Yeah.
You know, I thought that. That's why I wanted to ask you because I figured you knew that. Whatever. I mean, good for you, Chris Pratt. You son of a bitch, living that charmed life.
Oh, you got the former governor as now your daddy.
But I want to see a movie. I want Kindergarten Cop 2 or like something.
Who's your daddy and what does he do?
Who's your daddy and what does he do? My daddy-in-law is Arnold Schwarzenegger. If Chris Pratt starts talking with an East German accent, I swear to God, I'd be like, bullshit. I'm calling bullshit, Pratt.
So what should we say? So he needs to be in the next Terminator movie.
Wait a minute, real quick. Is he going to take Schwarzenegger's last name? You know he's going to. He's going to be Chris Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, I want Schwarzenegger to be my father-in-law.
What if
like a Conan the Barbarian remake?
What if that's the remake? What if he plays the son of Conan?
The son of Conan.
Or what if they did a Predator movie together? I could see that.
Ooh. But Chris Pratt, it's just running around in a Predator mask.
No, they do the Predator movie, but Chris Pratt has tamed the Predator, and he's his friend. And then there's dinosaurs.
And start going.
Jurassic Park 3. Jurassic World 3. So in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, hang on, in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, is his ship going to be called the Schwarzenegger? You know it's going to be the Schwarzenegger. It's going to be. There's no fucking doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
All right, but back to my original question. We'll get to Jeff's in a minute. Is Pratt going to now be Chris Pratt Schwarzenegger, or is he just going to drop Pratt altogether and just be Chris Schwarzenegger?
I think he should just go. You just got to go to Chris Schwarzenegger because, I mean,
Pratt will be his middle name. He'll be
recognizable last name in the world.
Yeah, Chris. I know you're an avid viewer of the show because you're Ryan's best friend. So we recommend that you just drop your name. No one cares about Pratt. You should definitely be Schwarzenegger, Chris Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, no hyping. So.
I mean, show that you're a man of today and that you're not bound by gender roles and weird shit like that, gender rules. You're just like, I'm taking my wife's name because her last name is Schwarzenegger. I really think that Chris Pratt is actually marrying Arnold Schwarzenegger. He just doesn't want to tell anybody.
It's just Arnold Schwarzenegger deeply into a role where he's been wearing this wig.
All right, we got to move on. All right, Jeff, answer your question. Who do we think would be a cool father-in-law? I mean, I guess we can't say Arnold Schwarzenegger because that'd be awesome. I definitely not like who's a celebrity that'd be. Well, let's see. Jeff Bezos would be a terrible celebrity to be your father-in-law because he'd probably try and sleep with your wife.
I know who the pick is, Brian. You don't even have to. It's Keanu Reeves. You would want him to be your father-in-law. You'd be like the coolest father-in-law.
I know, because he would outcool you at every situation. You would always be non-existent because you'd always be the Bill freaking S. Preston to his Ted Theodore Logan.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you'd be like, oh, hey, Brian. I mean, Chris Pratt, can hang with Schwarzenegger, I guess. Like, if we were hanging out with Keanu Reeves, he's literally the coolest dude in the room at all times.
That's true.
I would, if I was his son-in-law, though, I'd only call him Johnny Utah.
Your father-in-law because he would completely overshadow you? Is that what you're saying?
Well, you need a cool celebrity father-in-law who's, like, not going to be a total douchebag.
I
mean, Keanu Reeves isn't a douchebag. Let me rephrase that. He's not going to, like, either be a complete douchebag and, like, make you feel real little or just completely overshadow you because he's the coolest fucking dude known to man.
Yeah. So
Keanu Reeves is the coolest dude fucking known to man.
So you want someone who's cool, but he can also, like...
Yeah, like I wouldn't want, like, Clint Eastwood because he'd probably kick you in the balls repeatedly every time he saw you.
Yeah. What about, like, Bruce Willis? I mean, he maybe...
No, I feel like Bruce Willis is kind of a douchebag. I feel like he would just never show up. Like, he would miss your wedding. He'd be like... Yeah. And then make you feel bad that you, like, scheduled it on that day. You're like, oh, you had a wedding, huh? I think, God, I don't know who'd be a good father-in-law. Somebody who's got money, but he's not mean.
How about, like, Matt Damon?
Matt Damon would be a great father-in-law. I would like Ben Affleck. I mean, occasionally he'd be in rehab, so you'd have to, like, take care of that. And occasionally he might get drunk and flip the table at Thanksgiving. But, I mean, I think he'd be pretty cool to hang out with.
Yeah.
So you need a father-in-law who's not so cool that you might actually end up being the cool guy at the table if Ben Affleck's your father-in-law.
Like, just don't let him drink.
Yeah, because then he's just like, I'm Batman. Nah, Michael. Then you can fuck with him though. You'd be like, Michael Keaton's Batman, dude. Michael Keaton. He'd be a good father-in-law, I think.
Yeah. Also, they talk about remaking Beetlejuice.
Oh, you could talk him into remaking Beetlejuice. See, you're going all wrong. I would want a father-in-law who's like a big movie exec so I could like drop dimes of information and knowledge into his brain.
Brian, we drop information all the time. We would just have to make it watch.
I feel like they don't listen. I would like Ron Howard as a father-in-law because I'd like to be married to Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah. Well, or you just go all out with like Steven Spielberg or something.
Yeah, Spielberg would be cool. I like Spielberg. I'd want to be Spielberg. I wouldn't want to be George Lucas's son-in-law.
So who would you not want as a father-in-law then? I would say
Clint Eastwood. Tom Cruise. Actually, you know what? Tom Cruise would probably be a cool father-in-law. He seems like a lunatic, right?
He's trying to convert you into Scientology all the time.
I would just pretend and then never do it. but then I get to be in all his movies. It'd be great.
Like,
He makes. Oh yeah, that was. Hang on, real quick. News story. Speaking of Tom Cruise, we had one more news story that I forgot to mention. Mission Impossible. How did I forget this? I love Mission Impossible.
Forget about this one.
Mission Impossible has been greenlit for the next 2 movies. They are shooting back to back. They're coming out in 2020 and 2021. They're going to be directed by Christopher McQuarrie, who did Fallout and Rogue Nation, the 2 of the better movies in the entire franchise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Tom Cruise has said they're going to release them 1 year apart.
Yeah, so. 2020 and 2021, I believe.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm excited. If they're as good as Fallout and Rogue Nation, dude, Mission Impossible Fallout. Have you watched that yet?
No, I have not. I need to pick it up.
It may be on someone's Vudu account if you checked. It is honestly, it might be the best action movie ever made.
That's what everyone's been saying.
It's so good. Anyway, all right. So yeah, Tom Cruise I think would be a cool father-in-law. I mean, whatever.
So do you have a worst? We kind of say like who would be the worst ones. So.
I think, like, Jim Carrey would be a terrible one because you just know he's always trying to, like, you just be like, Jim, shut it. You're hilarious. I get it. Shut up.
Well, and he makes people, like, you have to sign, like, an NDA.
Really?
Like, when you work with him. So, I'm sure, like, if you were his father-in-law, he'd make you sign some contract.
I think Steven Seagal would be a real bad father-in-law.
He turned...
Not only is he a Russian spy, he'd probably try and, like... He'd always be that guy who always tried to, like... Hey Brian, whack, and then just judo chop you in the chest. And like, fuck?
Then he'd just be like, "You're such a fucking idiot."
Yeah, you're a loser, Brian, and then like leg sweep you, and you're like, "God damn it, I'm gonna pull your fake ponytail off, you son of a bitch." I don't want to beat up an old man, but I'll fucking do it, Seagal.
We know that ponytail is a weave, Steven Seagal.
Don't make me pull your weave off, Seagal. I swear to God, I'll do it. Putin ain't gonna save you from this ass whooping. Let's go. I want to beat an old man. Because you know he's gonna be that dickhole who's like in a wheelchair who still thinks he's like an Aikido master and he just randomly hits you with shit when you're not looking. It's a fucking... There we go. I think that's gotta be it right there. Steven Seagal would be the worst father-in-law known to man.
Yes. I think that's very true. And also I would like to add to the show title, Steven Seagal's Weave.
Oh my God, this is going to be the longest title known to man.
Yeah, we'll save it for next time.
Hashtag whiny baby turd buckets.
And Steven Seagal's Weave.
Steven Seagal's Weave. We're not even going to put Spider-Man. And then I'm going to put a picture of Spider-Man. That's the show. All right, moving on. Here we go.
All right, moving on with one final question, at least from the base picks. Jeff wants to know, do you think the success of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse could pave the way for more mainstream superheroes to get big-budget animated movies?
Absolutely.
Aside from DC animated movies, I'm guessing is what he's saying, because DC makes the best superhero movies.
I think if DC ever decided they want to sink some serious money, I think they could take their DC universe and blow that thing up on the big screen. It would be amazing.
Yeah, I never understood why they don't try to put them in. I mean, I guess
honestly, I think it all goes back to the failure of Batman: Mask of the Phantasm. That movie bombed horribly financially. Critically, it was a huge hit, but it's become a huge hit after the fact. And honestly, I still think it's DC's best animated movie ever. I mean, Mask of the Phantasm is a fantastic movie.
So good movie.
But I think the lesson they learned is that movie had a huge life in rentals and DVD sales. I think they realized, like, hey, we can make these movies, not sink a ton of money into them, and have a huge life without people calling them a flop or getting the negative press of not doing well in the theaters in the aftermarket, right? And so I don't know if they ever. I kind of wish they would go into animation, and hopefully with Spider-Man, making hundreds of millions of dollars, people will put your phone down. You can text, but put it down.
I'm trying to see if there's more questions.
I got another question, but you're blocking your face. I do think there's going to be a lot more. I know Mortal Kombat apparently they're talking about doing a live action or a animated movie for the next Mortal Kombat movie. I think you're going to see a lot more of these properties who say, you know what? Maybe this would work better as a movie. Dragon Ball Z Super, or Dragon Ball Super Broly is looking like it's going to be the highest grossing anime of all time.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a long running animated series. So I think people are starting to catch on that, hey, you can make some really cool, interesting movies that are animated. I mean, Pixar 3D animation's been doing it for a long time, and I think honestly, Incredibles was a superhero movie, and Incredibles 1 and 2 has made like $1 billion combined. So,
but I think maybe with the success of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, they won the Golden Globe for Best Animated Film. I know they have an Oscar nomination, if I'm remembering correctly.
I don't know if they got an Oscar. I know they won the Golden. I don't think they've announced the Oscars yet.
Oh, they haven't. Okay, that's right. They haven't announced the Oscars yet. But
it's gonna win. There's no competition this year, so it's gonna win an Oscar. But yeah, no, I'm with. Yeah, Jeff. I think honestly, I do think. I think the answer to your question, yes. I think we're gonna start seeing a lot more properties being animated.
Yeah. I have a gut feeling that Marvel's going to be trying to branch more into maybe theatrical animated and not sticking to like the TV shows and stuff like that. And I really, really, really hope that the DC animated that they just do straight to digital and Blu-ray release, that they try and stick one in the theater and it's a whole new era, DC.
Yeah, do it. Release another one. Give us a DC movie.
Yeah.
All right. And then finally, I did get a question from Christine. Let's see here. She wanted to know if we had watched Watchmen, and if we had, did it seem to us like a hodgepodge of stuff from Marvel? She knows it's older than the movies, but still, I'm guessing she just watched it for the first time. I think it's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah. Wait, The Watchmen?
Yeah, The Watchmen. So, yes, Christine, I can understand how you'd feel that way watching it now, but you got to remember, Watchmen came out way before Marvel. In fact, if anything, Marvel in some ways took a lot of stuff from The Watchmen and did it. So,
I wonder if she was watching the extended cut or if it was the original theatrical.
I don't know. Yeah, hey Christine, if you watched it and it had an animated thing in between, that's the director's cut. If you watched it was under 3 hours, that's the theatrical cut. So I will say, if you like the movie, it's definitely worth watching the director's cut. If you were kind of like, then it's probably not going to improve your enjoyment of the movie. So what you got to understand about Watchmen is based on I think a 1986 graphic novel from Alan Moore. For a long time, it was kind of held as the Bible of comic books. Back when comic books weren't really being taken seriously, a few writers, Frank Miller, Alan Moore, came in and wrote these very adult, very dark stories and showed that comic books could be used as a way of telling stories that wasn't just people in tights flying around saving people week to week. It was a deeper story. And honestly, Watchmen was kind of a referendum on superheroes in general and just on American culture and our obsession with these kind of things. And and also a little bit of what if. It was definitely a what if. It was coming out of the 70s with Vietnam and Nixon and everything else, and just showing what American excess could lead to if it was unchecked. And it had the whole idea was who watches the Watchmen. It was very much was a deeper metaphor for not just who watches the comic book people, but who watches the people that are supposed to protect us, right? So it was kind of a very dark take on government in general and just Americanism and where we see ourselves. And I believe Alan Moore is a British
so many great lines that you can quote out of it. That I'm not stuck in here with you. You're stuck in here with me. And stuff like that. And a lot of
likable or very unlikable characters. Spoiler is a little bit of spoiler if anybody's never watched it or read it. One of the greatest superheroes ends up being the villain in this, right? And the guy who becomes the most powerful superhero of all time uses his power to realize that he shouldn't be around people and then just leaves.
He went to Mars.
Yeah, he just left. It's supposed to be dark. It's supposed to have a lot of crazy concepts. Zack Snyder directed that, who eventually went on to direct the Batman v Superman, Man of Steel. So visually, this was one of the first really big, serious superhero movies.
This is what, like you said, this is the movie that became a part of the template.
Yeah, it became a part of, financially it was not a huge success. The fans most of us who really liked it, who liked the Watchmen, like this movie. It's for the most part been well received from comic book fans. I know it's one of my favorites. But I can definitely understand if your introduction to superheroes was really Marvel, how this could seem like it took a lot of Marvel concepts, and I know you mentioned that you know it was older, but I could see how it's not. It'd be hard to really enjoy this movie after seeing everything you've already seen, right? So, I find it to be a really good movie. It is definitely, there's a lot of similarities through the different comic movies that we have now, but I don't know. I think it's good. I don't necessarily recommend reading the graphic novel. I reread it recently, and it's a rough read.
I mean, it's not terrible.
It's like
as a
that thick.
Novel. Yeah, it takes a long time to get through it.
If you're not familiar with Alan Moore's writing style, it's real dark and real.
Yeah, it can get wordy.
Yeah, real wordy. A lot of exposition. But
yeah.
But anyway, that's our take on Watchmen. So there you go. Thank you for the question. I always enjoy talking about something that's been around for a while that we haven't had a chance to touch base on. If you would like to know more of what me and Ryan thought, Christine, I don't know, I keep looking at my microphone here, but you can. We did an entire review on the Watchmen Director's Cut, so you can find it on our YouTube page. So check that out and let me know and Ryan know what you think. All right, Ryan, we're already at an hour 15. Do we want to save our Parent Trap stories for next week, or do you want to?
I can save mine for next week. It's all right.
Do you want me to tell mine, or we just want to do recommendations and get out of here? What do you want to do?
So let's just do. I have a good recommendation this week.
All right. So guys, we'll save our Parent Trap stories. We ran a little long talking about Spider-Man. I have a fun story about having to sit through a dance recital. Whew. We'll talk about that next week. Something to look forward to. And
if people really want, we'll do a separate episode and we'll record just a Parent Trap.
That's true. Maybe we will. Maybe we'll just start doing that. We'll just start doing our Parent Trap segment where we just tell a parent story. But anyway, all right, guys and gals and everybody else, we'll save that for next week. And then recommendations, Ryan, before we get out of here. What do you got?
So I have started, even though they're on like episode 9 or 10, I just started watching The Rookie. My wife started watching the new Nathan Fillion show that's on Fox, I believe. My wife has already watched, I think she's watched every episode already, and I kind of jumped in like on a random episode she was watching.
Because I watched Castle. I watched the shit out of Castle. I liked Castle a lot.
It's really good. It's really funny. I'm on the episode 4 right now. They show like a lot of like police cam, like the view from the police cam, every now and then and stuff like that. The premise is Nathan Fillion's character. He is 40 years old, and
it's a good age.
He stops. Yeah, good age for everybody. Here's a template for you, Brian. He's at a bank that's being robbed, and he talks to robbers, to distract them until they get arrested, and he decides that he's going to move across the country and become a police officer. And
that sounds ridiculous, Ryan.
About him and the other, the new guys that are learning the ropes, and it's part serious, part funny. And I don't know what Castle is really like. I kind of guessing it kind of has like the same kind of feel where there's a little bit of comedy and drama that are kind of mixed in together. But I'm really enjoying it. I'm on the 4th episode so far. So that's kind of like my cutoff point to see if I really like a show or not. And it's been really good. So if you have a new show that you want to start watching, by yourself or with your spouse, I would highly recommend The Rookie. If you have Hulu, like I do, you can watch every single episode that's on Hulu right now. So,
all right, The Rookie. There you go. Check it out. Nathan Fillion. He is a national treasure. We love him. My recommendation this week is actually a podcast that I think me and Ryan mentioned in previous episodes, but I finally got a chance to dive into it. And oh my God, I'm hooked on it. I'm completely addicted. If you are a Harry Potter fan, Binge Mode on the Ringer Network. Can you see that?
Yes, I can.
There we go. They're on season 3. Their first season, they did a deep dive of every single episode of Game of Thrones. I have not gotten into that yet. I'm going to start listening to that. Season 2, they just broke down some like, I don't know, nerd stuff, different movies, stuff like that. But season 3, they break down every single chapter of every single Harry Potter book. And after each chapter of the first book, The Sorcerer's Stone, they break down every chapter, and then they break down the movie, talk about what's left out, the differences between them, and then they have a special. I listened to a whole special about the U.S. World Quidditch. I just listened to another episode about, bonus episode about the Wizarding World of Harry Potter at Universal Studios, which is actually really good because I'm going there in a month, so I'm excited to do that. But if you love Harry Potter like I do, it's not telling you anything you didn't know, but it's really cool. It breaks down a lot of the stuff that maybe some of the connections you didn't make yourself. I know there's some revelations of like, oh, I never really thought about that. And honestly, some of the things they're talking about, like, and here's an example. So they talk about how in Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, the very first time he goes to Hogwarts and he sees Professor Snape for the very first time, right? This is a small spoiler, so if you guys have not watched Harry Potter or read the books...
Muffs.
Yeah, earmuffs, move ahead. But, as we all know, that Professor Snape eventually is revealed to be one of the main heroes in this entire series, and that he is there to protect Harry, and that he loved his mother, and that he swore that he would protect Harry on his life, and not only that, he was bullied by James Potter, Harry's father. And when you read, one of the connections they made is in the book, they talk about how the gaze of somebody made his scar hurt, and he looked over and he wanted to know who it was, and it was Professor Snape just staring at him. And then when I watched the movie, me and the kids are watching all the movies again because we're going to Harry Potter Land in a month. When Alan Rickman, R.I.P., when he gazes at Harry Potter, I never really thought about that connection, but they were talking about it in the series, is when you know the ending, when you know the whole story, which apparently Alan Rickman did. That was one of the things that his requirements to take the characters. He wanted to know how it ended. So J.K. Rowling, before she even had finished the books, told him his entire character arc. In that moment, he's looking at Harry. It's the first time he's seen the son of the woman he loved and swore to protect, staring at him. And the first thing he saw, and it says it over and over in the books, is Lily's eyes, his mother's eyes. Harry had his mother's eyes staring at him. So the face of the man that he hated with the eyes of the woman that he loved, and the child that he swore to protect, for the first time he'd seen him in 11 years, right then in that spot. Like, I'm watching that movie, I listened to that podcast, I didn't even think about that, and then I watched the movie and literally gave me chills. Like, I was overcome with emotions watching that. I'm like, oh my God. Even back then they knew, and fucking JK is a genius. So, anyway, if listening to me get excited about some insights like that is your cup of tea, Binge Mode, definitely highly recommend it. Ringer Network, you can find it on any major podcast platform. Check it out. So, the Harry Potter stuff is Season 3. They have every episode available to download and listen to. Trust me, you will go through them very fast. I'm already 20 episodes in, so, and I just started this last week, so... And they're like an hour and a half long. I've listened to 20 plus hours of them talking about Harry Potter.
I'm on episode.
Yeah, there you go. There we go. All right. And that is all we got for you. So you got anything else?
No.
All right.
Good wrap it up.
Before we get out of here, Ryan, would you like to tell everyone where they can find us?
Of course, you can find us on YouTube at the Geek Dad Report, and Facebook at the Geek Dad Report, and Twitter at the Geek Dad Report. Brian is BrianWest53 on Twitter, and I am Big Bruiser. We are also on podhell.com with our friends, the Utah Outcast. And you can also find us on iTunes at the Geek Dad Report. And we will, let's see, on the 18th, it will be 100% caught up.
Yes. Good job on that, Ryan. And I would like to give a quick shout out real fast. We had 2 new YouTube subscribers this week, and as you know, I don't know if everybody else knows, if your account is not set to private and we see who you are, you get a shout out on this very show. So tonight, I would like to introduce to you the Whipped Breen. I don't know much about Whipped Breen other than that they are highly whipped. Don't know if they're made of actual milk, but they're very whipped. They're very briny.
Cream. It's got to be a heavy cream, not just milk.
It could be a heavy cream. That's a very good point. But we do know that they are very whipped. They are very breeny, and together they create the superstar known as the Whipped Breen.
Yeah.
Their YouTube coverage is extensive. We know that they have excellent taste in shows, and
we appreciate it.
They're definitely somebody that you want to be associated with. So, Whipped Breen, thank you for following us. Hopefully we live up to all your expectations, and mostly we hope you just laugh and have a good time. So thank you for your subscription. And then our other subscriber this week is the American Atheist. And as everybody knows, the best kind of atheist is an American one. Now, we do not know if they're North American, South American, or even Central American atheist, but because we live in the US of A, we're going to say they're the US of A American atheist.
We're going to assume that this atheist has, like, American flag bandana.
Definitely. Probably Geek Dad shirt. And we do know, we can say a couple things, Mr. American Atheist or Mrs. American Atheist. We know that you don't believe in a lot of things, but we are thankful that you believe in us. Yeah. Enough to at least hit that subscribe button and be part of our network. So, once again, we hope that you are having a good time, that we live up to all your expectations, and most of all, we hope that you continue to watch us, and thank you for subscribing. We appreciate your patronage, and we will strive, we will lose infinite amounts of sleep to try and entertain the shit out of all you guys for the measly sum of no money at all. So, there you go.
And all you gotta do is just tell, like, 5 friends.
Tell all the friends, definitely.
Tell all the friends. And if you're like American atheist and you know a European atheist or an Asian atheist or an Australian atheist,
African
if you want
atheist,
all like the major countries,
Antarctica atheist.
Yeah. I mean, we'll take polar bear atheists.
Ooh, they got polar bear atheists?
Yeah.
That makes
polar
sense.
Bears don't care.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing they do believe in. Climate change, because I've seen this sad polar atheist bear on like a little teeny floating iceberg floating around. Somebody needs to help that guy. I feel like that atheist bear does not have a wireless connection, though. They could have Verizon, so they might be able to watch us on YouTube, though.
They just want some bat seals to eat. That's all they want.
God, and maybe a bigger piece of ice to float away. Anyway, tell everybody Ryan is right. Thank you for subscribing. If you're part of the fun, as always, thank you for watching. You guys are awesome. Stay that way. Until next week. Nothing to say? You don't got something to say?
No, I'm waiting for you to do yours, and then
I said, whatever. Until next week, everybody, stay awesome.
And stay nerdy, because...
And don't wait for Ryan to follow your lead, because you'll be waiting here all goddamn night.
Brian's a jerkhead, is what he is.
Don't make me Steven Seagal you. I swear to God, I'll fucking do it. Whack!
Get some weaves, ponytails.
Just don't be a Russian spy. Later!
Bye!